Now as we get started with these strengthening exercises, we're going to first talk about using the ball. We're going to use a therapy ball in assisting us to do these. And so the thing that I want you to understand about the ball, or the therapy balls, is they're designed with our height. And so if you purchase those here in the office, we're going to be able to dial you in on the exact one. If you go out and you get them someplace else, just make sure that you look at the height range. And then the other thing that I want you to look at, which is really important, is I want you to notice if it has an anti-burst to it. If you have small kids, you have little pets, really important to have an anti-burst to help prevent the ball from popping, because the last thing I want to have happen is the ball to fall while you're doing your exercises or using it to support you or stabilize you. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and go into our first exercise, which we call a front bridge. And that's where we're going to start to work by contracting the core, but also our back muscles to help support ourselves. I'll show you that right now. This first exercise that I'm showing you is what we call a front bridge. And what we're going to do on these exercises is, first of all, we're going to do an abdominal hollow, which contracts our belly button back to our spine, and then we're going to go ahead and raise ourselves up. Now those of you who have difficulty, in a sense, with strength or working to strengthen your spine, just start off with the easier series. And what that is just you pushing up on your elbows as well as your knees so the rest of your body is straight. If that's really easy for you and you can hold that for 30 seconds, what I want you to do then is I want you to just go ahead and rise up onto your toes. This is a lot harder because it's creating more strain, more leverage, and with how the spine's holding itself. And so we want to hold this for 30 seconds. This is occurring when we're doing an abdominal hollow, but you can feel the contraction all throughout your entire back. Once you're done with that for 30 seconds, what I want you to do is that we're going to do a side bridge. And so we're just going to roll over onto our side. Now in this position, once again, we start off by doing an abdominal hollow. If we needed to do it with a little bit less resistance, we're going to use our knees. And so we're just going to push ourselves up so that we're straight once again here. I abdominal hollowed before I raised up. Strengthening the core. If that's easy for you and you can do that for 30 seconds, what we're going to do is use our toes once again. And we're going to hold this. There's a huge contraction that's occurring all throughout my core region, my abdominals, as well as my back. Then, with this being a side-lying bridge, you're going to roll over and do it to the other side. Now when you're doing these, don't cause yourself pain. Hold it for 10 seconds if you can only hold it for 10 seconds. If you can hold it for up to 30, hold it for 30 seconds. And I want you doing these as well as stretching exercises both morning and night. Okay? The last one we're going to do is a back bridge. And this is where I'm going to use a therapy ball to help assist me. The other thing you can use is an ottoman if you don't have a therapy ball at your house at this point. So when you're in this position here, your feet and ankles are going to be what are on the ball. The further your legs are apart, the more stability you have. And so it's a little bit easier to hold yourself up. The less stability, which helps with those neuromotor pathways, the connection between your brain and the muscle, and the coordination of your balance, the closer your legs are. And so what we're going to do here, my legs are close together. I'm going to do an abdominal hollow, and then I'm going to push myself up into a straight line once again. You can see how I'm kind of wobbly here, and that's good because it's creating postural muscles to fire. Because there's an imbalance right now. I'm not stable. We want to also hold this for 30 seconds. So with that, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into what we call a cross crawl. Okay, this next exercise is what we call a cross crawl. Once again, what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with balance because we're going to be a little bit off balance while we're doing this, as well as we're going to be firing the muscles along our spine and our core. It's an exercise that I just want you to get on all fours with, your hands and your knees. And then once you're in this position, I want you to draw your belly button up to your spine and do an abdominal hollow. And then I'm going to have you tighten your rear end, your buttocks. And so once you're in this position, if you aren't really stable, we want to start off and make it easy. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to raise one leg up. Now, as long as you have your abs contracted and the buttock region contracted, it's going to be really hard to rotate and get out of range. We don't want you to get into a position where you're all torqued and contorted because that creates more stress to the lower portion of your back. So if you're doing it properly with the hollow and the tightened buttock region, your leg's just going to come straight out. And it's not going to feel right to raise it any higher than that. If that's easy for you to do, what I want you to do is raise your opposite hand up. Once you're in this position, it's more of a balancing act. Okay? We have 2 legs of the table that are off, and 2 off the floor, and 2 that are on the floor. And so we want to work to hold ourselves in this position for up to a 10-second period of time. Once we do it 10 seconds there, we jump to the other side, contract our abs, tighten the butt cheek region, bring our opposite leg up, feel stable, bring our opposite hand up. And hold that for up to 10 seconds. And then go ahead and do another repetition. I want you doing 3 reps with this. And I'm not holding it for a full 10 seconds, but you can see what I'm doing to help strengthen my core and my spine and keep those pathways between my brain and the muscles working appropriately. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go into what we call our T's, W's, and Y's. And so we're going to have the ball underneath in between our chest and our abdomen. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put ourselves out into a plank. And so my spine's straight here, my back's straight, my head is straight. What I mean by straight is that I'm not hyperextending myself and I'm not flexed forward over the ball. We want to create a contraction throughout that spine. So when we're in this position, what we're going to do is we're going to use our hands in front of us and we're going to make the shape of the letter of a T first. And so our hands are in front of us and we're going to bring our arms directly out to our sides. We're going to hold that for 2 seconds and we're going to come back. And then we're going to go ahead and do it again. And we want to do 10 reps holding each for 2 seconds. Now if this is really easy for you, go ahead and grab those little dumbbells that you have at home, 5, 10-pound dumbbells, 15-pound dumbbells, and you can do it to help increase the strength throughout this upper portion of your back. So after we've done 10 of those, what we want to do is we want to go into a W. In a W, when we're doing this, our arms are going to be bent at the elbow region. Our head is the center prong of the W, and so when we do this exercise, we're once again in a plank position, not hyperextension or not flexed forward, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our arms up so it's in a shape of a W. Once again, hold it for 2 seconds. We're going to do 10 reps, and if we need more resistance or more weight, we can add those dumbbells into our hands. And then the last exercise we're going to do is we're going to do a Y, the shape of a Y. Our thumbs are going to be up here, and we're going to bring our arms directly out in front of us. This is also known as a Superman. And we're straight here. Once again, the other thing you can do is if it's too easy for you while you're doing these exercises is to even stand on, because it's a balancing exercise, makes it a little bit more difficult. And if you're really unstable with your feet close together, you can always spread them apart to give you more stability. So back to the Y. Our arms are going to come directly out in front of us. And we're going to hold that for 2 seconds. Bring it back down. We're going to do 10 reps. And we can also use weight to increase the resistance. So let's go into some additional exercises that not only you're going to do at home, but you're going to do here in the office. And a lot of these tools are going to be included in the home rehab kit that you're going to get if you've chosen to be on a rehabilitation program in our office. So let's get started with that.